Hi Stampers, welcome to Stamp Happy Holidays. This is Kim with Great Inspiration, and today is the very first of my series of Stamp Happy Holidays for 2025. I thought we would start out with a card. And here are 3 cards made with different supplies, but they're all the same basic card fold, and that is a gatefold card, but it's called a floating gatefold because when you open it, there's a little element inside. As you can see, the little mechanisms back here that make these little elements stand up. And this one is a very basic one. I just made my gatefold card. I made a focal image on a panel and put adhesive just on the left side of the back of the panel so we can open our card, open it up. As you can see, I have pattern paper out here, but I didn't put any inside because you really don't have to. I kept my little images simple. Just a little stamped image down here of a haunted house, a happy Halloween, plenty of room to write a message or sign your name. And there that is, a cute little card for Halloween. Now, we're coming up on a lot of holidays here in this last 4 months of the year, especially the last 3. And I know everyone doesn't celebrate Halloween, but we do have fall. I know some of you're going into spring, but we are going into fall here in the United States. So I made a card with a fall theme. And it says, Happy Fall, y'all. Again, I just made a focal panel, but this time I used some circle dies, and I have a little Yorkie here peeking out of a pile of leaves. Then we open our card. We have hi there, and there is our little Yorkie again, and he and the pile of leaves, they're on their little floating element. I might be able to see it better like this. I don't know. But there they go. And as you can see in here, on the back side of these flaps, I put some pattern paper just to step it up a little bit. We have some leaves by the greeting and some leaves that are falling down towards the pile of leaves. Plenty of room here to write a message and sign your name. Now, of course, Christmas will be coming up before too awfully long, so I did make a Christmas version. We have a little snowman here, and he's peeking out of a pocket. Now, I had a stamp and die to make this pocket, and there are several available from different companies. And on my corresponding blog post, I listed a few of those companies where if you wanted to buy a stamp and a pocket die cut, you could do so. But this one is a very simple one, and later on in this video, I'll show you how to make that if you care to make it. So we have a greeting here. I have some pattern paper. We open it up, Merry Christmas, and then just some simple holly designs. And again, no pattern paper on the inside. But what I did do, I backed my images, the snowman and the pocket, with cardstock the same color as my card base. And that just kind of makes it look a little clean and simple. They're all one color. So must be losing my hair. I had loose hair on there. Okay, here we go. There's that one. Now, these floating gatefold cards, you may have made one before, and of course you can make them for any holiday or occasion. I just thought we would start off the Stamp Happy Holidays with these because they're an easy, fun fold, but yet they have that little wow factor of the images inside that kind of pop up and are floating. So, how do you make one of these? Well, how about we put one together? We'll move these on over to the side. And in my family, I have members who celebrate Hanukkah. So I thought I'd make a Hanukkah card. I have all the bits and pieces here that we'll need, I hope. I hope I got them all. But first of all, we are going to start with a card base that is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. So just like a regular A2 card base. But we're going to score it at 2 1/8 inches on this side. Turn it around and score at 2 1/8 inches on the opposite side. Or score at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8, whichever you prefer. It will be the exact same measurements. So we're going to fold on those score lines. And I'm going to get my bone folder and go over these folds really well. Get a good crease. And then we're going to fold this one over. There we go. So we have that portion. And then we need 2 pieces of cardstock. I've used white. You can use that, or you can use the color of your card base. It doesn't matter. And these are 4 1/2 by 1/2 inches. And we need to score both of these. So I'll get my scoreboard. And we are going to score at 1 inch. Now, all of these measurements will also be found in on my corresponding blog post. And as I said, the link to that blog post is in the description of this video. So at 1 inch, then 2 1/2 inches, 3 1/2 inches, and we're finished. We'll take this one, and it's the same. We'll score at 1 inch. We'll score at 2 1/2 inches. And then we'll score at 3 1/2 inches. And we're finished with that. So we've got our card base. These are the mechanisms for the floating images. I have taken and stamped 2 dreidels on some circle punches and mounted them on some blue circle punches. These will be our floating elements. This will be our focal image. And on the back of that, I have some foam tape, and I've put it only on the back of the left side of our image. I have our inside piece, which is 4 by 5 1/4. And I have pre-stamped these images, and I'll show you some tips on doing that here in just a minute. And then I made some pattern paper. This is some DIY pattern paper with some dreidels and some geld, and I have 4 of them. You'll need 2 for the front, and like I said, if you want to add it inside these flaps, you will need 4, and they're all the same. They are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So let's start putting this together. So I think the first thing we'll do is we'll put our panels on, our pattern paper panels. I'm just going to use some this Stampin' Seal Plus. It's pretty strong adhesive. I like that. And we will just get this centered along the top and bottom and side to side. There we go. One more. There we go. Now we'll put them inside. Just need to tuck that little bit of adhesive over. Got off the side just a little bit. And one more. There we go. And now we're going to place this right in here. And we're not going to use adhesive yet. We're just going to get it in there about where it's going to be. And here is our mechanism. And if you look closely, you'll see there's a 1-inch section here. I'm just going to turn that this way. Just fold it towards the back. It's a mountain fold. Then we have a 1 1/2 section here. I'm going to just do a mountain fold. And then we have 2 1-inch sections here. We're just going to do another mountain fold. You can go over these with your bone folder as well, or you can just kind of crease them really well with your finger. Now, this 1-inch section over here that's all by itself and next to the 1 1/2 inch section, this is the piece that we're going to adhere right here onto our flap. So I put this right here, just kind of hold it in place, just lay this right here and make sure that I can adhere it below the top of the card. And this kind of gives me an idea of where I can stamp and stamp here, and then we just do the opposite for the bottom. We have our 1-inch piece. I'm going to fold it, the 1 1/2 inch, and then down here, the 2 1-inch pieces. So we flip it, and this little 1-inch section that's all by itself, it's going to go down here. You can put it lower or higher. It just depends on the size of your image that you want to float. And then you'll see with these just laying here, you can kind of see where you can stamp or where you will have space to put a greeting or just space to write. It's entirely up to you. So let's get these pieces in there. Okay. We need to put some adhesive right here. I think I'm going to use the liquid. Okay, so oops, can't do that yet. We need to put our inside panel down first. Just kind of line it up here between the score lines. There we go. And now we're ready to put our mechanism on. We're going to get this 1-inch piece that's off by itself. It doesn't have the second 1-inch piece beside it. And we're going to just put some adhesive on it. I'm going to kind of just fold it. Now, kind of remember where you want to put it. And on this score line, to the left of the score line is where you want to put this. Line it up right on the little ridge of the score line. Let me see if I'm down far enough. I think I might be. Yep. So we'll line that up right there. And now we're going to put some adhesive right here. And we're going to fold it. Hold it. And then just lay it down. And there we go. There's our first little element. So you put this side, you put it right along this score line to the left of it. So right here. This one, you just fold it over, have this flat, and press it down. And now we're going to put our element on here. I just got to make sure it's not going to be seen. And of course you can use, I should have watched where my, which direction my dreidel was going. I think we got it. And there we go. That worked. And now we'll do the bottom one. Like I said, it's backwards. We want, this time, the 1-inch piece is by itself. We want it to be towards the right. Once again, we'll put the adhesive on. Kind of fold it. Get it down here, and now we're going to put it to the right. Put it on the score line, right on that score line, but over towards the right. Let me see. Kind of wiggle it a little bit here. There we go. And now, I'm just going to put some glue on this section. Remember, we're going to fold it, straighten it out, push, lay it down, and there it is. So now we can put this one on here. I'm going to hold that down for just a second so the glue will, there we go. And there are our floating elements. It closes, it opens, we got it. We put the glue away. And now we have our focal image for the outside. Just have to peel the backing off of the tape, off of the foam tape. And let's see. Just want to get it. Just going to lay it down here. Just lay it down carefully. I see no foam tape, so I'm going to press. And there we go. And that's how I made the floating gatefold cards. And I see I have a little ink there, and you know what? We'll let that kind of dry, and then I have an adhesive eraser I will use to get that off of there. But there we go. There is our card for Hanukkah. And here's the one for Christmas, and the one for fall, and of course the one for Halloween. And I told you I would show you a way to make that pocket. It's so easy. So we'll move these out of the way. And that little pocket, basically it looks like this. I put the snowman on top there so you can see it. But this, it stamps with the, of course, an outline, and then it has the little stitching. Well, what I did, I just measured it, and I took paper that is 2.5 by 3. And then I took, oh, I need to get a pencil. There we go. I took my ruler, and 2.5, it's 2.5 wide, so half of 2.5 is 1 1/4. So I found the 1 1/4 mark and marked it. Made a little tick mark. And then I measured how far down these points were from the 3 inches, because remember it was 3 inches long, and that was 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to mark each side from the bottom down here where we've made our tick mark up, and we're going to go to 3/4 of an inch. And that's right there. I know that might be hard to see. And now we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. And yeah, we've done things similar to this before, haven't we? And we just mark that 3/4 of an inch spot. And then we take a trimmer and we're going to place this mid mark in this cutting, I call it the cutting trough. The cutting trough, I don't know why, I just do. We're going to put it there and turn the paper so that this mark on the side of the paper is lined up in that trough. Put this down and cut. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. And then you can erase those pencil marks if they're showing, and mine are. But you have your pocket. And then all you have to do is add some faux stitching. And you can do that with just a Sharpie. This is an ultra fine tip Sharpie, or if you have just a black marker. And I'll show you, here's one I did real quick, so it's not exactly great, but you get the idea. See? And by the time you get your greeting on there, it'll look just fine because you don't need a whole lot of other stuff on it since you're putting a greeting on it. And you don't have a snowman, that's okay. Do you have a little animal? Do you have a little person, an elf, whatever? Anything can be popping out of this pocket. It could be a Christmas tree. It could be a bigger snowman. It could be whatever you would like for it to be. And it doesn't have to be for Christmas. It could be for a birthday or any occasion or holiday that you like. So that is what I have for today for our first Stamp Happy Holidays, what will we call it? I guess video for this year. And like I said, there's our Christmas card and the fall card and the Halloween card. And of course, here is the Hanukkah card that we just made together. I need to go over these folds a little better with my bone folder. But I really like this card. I just think it's cute. It's not hard to make. It takes just a tad bit longer, but not that much longer. And it's September, it's still early. If you would like to make several of these for Christmas or whatever holiday that you want to send it out for. Again, you will find instructions, measurements. You'll find the instructions for the little pocket as well, and supply lists and all of that on my corresponding blog post. And you can get that link in the description of this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. And until next time, stamp happy.